Live from the Student Union on campus, this is Gold Mine Live. Your weekly all-access pass inside Charlotte Athletics is brought to you by Ortho Carolina, proud to present the 2017 Charlotte 49ers football season. Bojangles, it's bow time. Your Carolina Ford dealers. Go to yourfordchoice.com and enter the Adventure Ready giveaway to win a 2017 Escape or Fusion from your Carolina Ford dealers. Harris Teeter, where 49ers fans shop for groceries. University Eye Associates. And by Wells Fargo. Charlotte 49er fans, show your pride with a customized Wells Fargo debit card. Stop by your nearest Wells Fargo or visit Wells Fargo Card Design Studio online to learn more. Now, here's your host, the voice of the 49ers, Matt Swerad.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Gold Mine Live, and here to talk Niners football for the next 60 minutes with Head Coach Brad Lambert, alongside Kevin Donnelly as well. I'm Matt Swerad, and welcome in. And the Niners getting ready for homecoming week. It is going to be week 8, and coming in is UAB, a team the Niners had not played yet on the football field, much like this past weekend where they went to Western Kentucky for the first time. But UAB is kind of a unique story in that they were in this league and had some success in this league, but ended up dropping football for a year. But they brought it back, Coach, and they're playing some pretty good football right now.
Yeah, they really are. Coach Clark's a heck of a football coach, doing a good job with them. Got a lot of age on their team. They went heavy with transfers and junior college players, and quarterback's playing extremely well for them right now. Got a big offensive line. So they're doing a good job. They're really playing well. They've won 2 close games in a row, on the last second field goals, one they blocked, and then when they hit Louisiana Tech and Middle Tennessee. So 2 big wins for them, puts them at 4-2. So they're on a good streak right now.
And we know how much they love football in Alabama. That was a unique situation for Coach Clark because he had a team playing well when they dropped the sport. He could have left, but he stuck it out, stayed there, and is going to build that program back up.
Yeah, he could have. That was such a unique deal where you drop football, and they were bowl eligible at the time. They were 6-6 at the time when they dropped football. So, just kind of a wake-up call for everybody around the school, I think. And they said, hey, look, we really want football, and went out and raised some money and put it in their facilities, and Coach stuck around and was really set on rebuilding it or building it, and he's doing a good job.
And it is homecoming, as I mentioned. I think it's really unique that we are playing UAB, because even though we've not played them in football before, for the older alums of UNC Charlotte, they know UAB because we've been members of the same conference for a long time, going way back to the Sun Belt Conference. So as they come back, maybe they've not seen a football game, but they don't know that this is the first time playing UAB.
Yeah, that's kind of unique. The 2 schools, go way back like that. But, first time on the gridiron, and it was our first opportunity to go to Western Kentucky last week and run into a team that was, 2-time back-to-back champions of our league, and really got a fine football team. And we caught them on the wrong day. Of course, we had a lot of guys out. We didn't play as well on the back end as I'd like to, but it was a tough environment and against a really good football team that got hot on us.
Michael White, the Western Kentucky quarterback, you knew going in, a guy that put up unbelievable numbers a year ago, had some different personnel to work with this year, but had a big day on Saturday.
He did, and I felt like going into the game they were really starting to find themselves, because they went through that first part of the year with a new staff, new offensive coordinator, new guys, and they really, had gotten better each week. And I was hoping they'd be down a little bit, but he played really well. He's a heck of a player. I think he's a guy that we all might see on Sundays. He's a very talented guy, and big offensive line. I thought we held our own up front, held them to 3 yards per rush, but through the air we couldn't slow them down.
Yeah, there was no doubt that it was that was pointed of their attack was to try and pass that ball around, and it's tough with you mentioned the injuries, but 3 of them being on the back end of your defense. It's extremely tough to overcome that.
Yeah, it gets tough back there. We're trying to get a little continuity, and then Quay was out with a toe, and Ed Rolls out. Anthony Covington hurt his hip, so he couldn't make the trip. So we were a little down back there, but hey, it's an opportunity for somebody else to step up. And we got beat a couple of times, but there was some good things in there. You're always trying to find the bright spots in there, and had a couple young guys playing. Robert Cheatham playing back there for the first time, got his first start. Aaron McAllister got his first start. I thought he did some good things throughout the game, but then we didn't have our quarterback either. Hassan was not feeling well all last week, so he couldn't practice. So we had to go with Brooks, and first time Brooks played in a long time. So it's one of those deals. But hey, that's what it is. That's part of our game. You get to the middle of the year, and everybody's beat up. There's injuries everywhere. So we just hit a little bit more than normal.
Yeah, and I think that on the offensive side, just hitting it, I'm sure we'll get more into it because Aaron McAllister is going to be our guest later on. But, with him, when you get some backups and guys that have to start, he goes in there and has a really nice day. It has to be encouraging that this is a guy that when the spotlight was on him really did some nice things.
Yeah, especially early in the game, man. He really ran the ball well and had the big long run for us. And, we were humming along pretty good. We just couldn't get any stops in the first half. Second half, we came out and got stops. We got off the field on fourth down, forced a couple punts. We got some turnovers, things like that. So held them to 7 points in the second half, but we just too big a hole to overcome.
21-14 was the score after that big 89-yard touchdown run by Aaron McAllister. How big was it's huge in terms of the whole season and everything, but losing Carrington King at the point after the touchdown, because you guys had some momentum, but that you could see the whole defense going out to show their support before he left the field. It had to affect the defense and the whole team, really. Yeah,
no question. Carrington's been a mainstay at the inside backer position for us, and just a devastating injury, something you don't ever want to see happen to any player, whether yours or somebody else's. Those are just career enders. I mean, he just really was a bad injury on the field, and we tried to keep our guys pumped up at the time, but I'm sure it affected all of them. And then we didn't have him, the rest of the game. But it was critical time down there in the red zone. We were trying to get off with a field goal, and then we missed a tackle coming off the edge after that. But that injury that's a pretty big blow for us as another starter out that we couldn't play the second half with. We got Jeff back in the second half, so that helped us a little bit. But a guy like Anthony Butler's just going to step up. It's his time now, and he and Jeff will have to find another inside backer. Is that Darley? Who is that guy? Is it Sean Bernard? He played in the game. Darley played in the game. Darley coming back off a concussion that he had been out the game before. So, we're going to have to find some guys that really step up at inside backer for us.
One guy that did step up and has had a few games this year where he's made some impressive plays, and that's Alex Highsmith. He had a good second half against Western this past Saturday.
Yeah, I've been really proud of Alex. He's, going back to last year, he's just a guy that came in, he walked on here and has really, kind of solidified himself. He's a good player. He plays a lot in the games. He and Tyreek been a mainstay over there for us at Bandit. But Alex is really, making some plays in the backfield, being productive for us. We're going to have to continue for him to play well for us to have a chance.
Yeah, and I like the one play, they ran something that end around with a wide receiver and, got him in the backfield and really just showed some good open field awareness of where he was and where his help was, and made a big play in the backfield there. There's a lot of times you see guys just get run by, but he did a good job.
Yeah, he really has got, pretty good eye discipline and seeing the big picture sometimes. He's done a good job of that and forced some bad plays and some lost yardage plays. I think he's done a good job. He's done that pretty much all year for us, and we got a good little rotation with him and Tyreek, two productive guys at that position that you can get in and out and keep a guy fresh, especially for guys coming off the edge and things like that.
Your thoughts, you mentioned Brooks Barton. It's one thing getting the reps in practice, but game speed is so much different. Your thoughts on how he did play for you, and then what's the situation going forward this week? You feel like Hassan's going to be healthy enough to play? Yeah,
I thought Brooks went in and did. He hadn't played in the game in a long time, and I was trying to get him to stay calm and slow down, because what happens to you is that your body naturally speeds up because of the game. Your heart's going faster, your mind's racing. So try to keep him calm. He missed a couple of throws that I'm sure he'd like to have back. Had a real long run, kind of hurt his hamstring there about midway through that 80-yard run or however long it was. He did a nice job there. But moving forward, hopefully, we'll get Hassan back today. See how he's feeling, if we can get him progressed back in the lineup, and just keep working those two guys. We got to keep working with Brooks, because he, his hamstring issue. He's been in treatment, since we got back from Western Kentucky, and then we'll try to get Hassan back out there. We'll just see how he's feeling, today when we go to the field this afternoon.
Joe Thompson got a chance to play a little bit too in the fourth quarter, and it was the first time that we've seen him in a game for the 49ers. Your thoughts?
Yeah, Joe was kind of in a tough spot. We was playing with all the twos out there, and it's just hard to judge, at the end of the game. You're just trying to, move the ball, trying to score there at the end, but you're always trying to put points on the board and keep the ball moving. But, tough duty for Joe to go in that situation.
No question about that. Let's take a timeout. We're here until 1 o'clock at the Student Union. And also coming up a little bit later on is going to be Aaron McAllister. Keith Henry, the running backs coach, going to join us this week as well. We're back with Coach Lambert in a moment on the Charlotte IMG Sports Network.
Okay, it's time to belly up to the bar because it's the last call to save big on 2017 Ford F-Series. Cash in on the truck that hauls the most and has more efficiency at the pump with an EcoBoost engine and a high-strength military-grade aluminum alloy body. Time to get in on America's best-selling trucks 40 years running. Because you snooze, you lose, pal.
Now get $10,800 in total savings on a 2017 F-150 only at your Carolina Ford dealer.
Sophie, his 13th birthday. Gift, we've got you. Guitar, coming tomorrow. Road game today, surprise party tomorrow. Change of plans. Game tomorrow.
No, birthday tomorrow.
Hotel. Guitar, reroute.
Birthdays are on birthdays.
Party, relocate. UPS My Choice makes rerouting packages easy. How we're helping companies solve for the needs of customers like Sophie.
Welcome back to Gold Mine Live as we get ready for week 8 of the football season already. It's homecoming week here on campus. The Niners taking on UAB. It's a 6:30 kick this week, so just to mark your calendars for that. 6:30 this coming Saturday at Jerry Richardson Stadium. For tickets, just go to charlotte49ers.com or call 704-687-4949. Back with the head coach, Brad Lambert. And hey, before I want to talk about Ben DeLuca in a moment. Before we do, I wanted to ask you, because 2 weeks ago we played Marshall, Ryan Juracek. We spent a lot of time talking about their really talented tight end. We saw another one this week in Deion Yelder. I thought he played really well.
Yeah, he's a good player. He's very athletic, big. He's kind of a different, type guy, big athletic guy, and they used him really well. And we'll see 2 more, in UAB. They really use their tight ends. It's kind of a trend right now in college football is to have these H-backs that can line up a little bit of everywhere. So you always got to find them. And the last 2 weeks and then this week coming up will be the same thing. They do a nice job at UAB using their tight end. But, yeah, he is a fine player, big athletic guy. I thought they did a nice job getting him down the field. Ran the double pass to him. They did a nice job utilizing him. He was a little better blocker than I thought going into the game, coming out of the game. He did a pretty good job blocking as well. I thought he was a really good player coming out of the game.
Yeah, Fant's a little guy, but everybody else, that's a pretty big wide receivers.
Yeah, no question, and could get down the field on you. So that was a little bit of a matchup issue for us, because we were down a little bit and we had some new guys in there, and I thought they did a good job of, like the big play they got. They beat our safety on the throwback off the boot. There's some guys could really get down the field on you. And this week in UAB, they've got a wideout that I think is as good as anybody that we're going to play against. Number 3, he's a fabulous player. Does a really nice job for them. He's a good football player. And
that kind of leads us into the Ben DeLuca a little bit. Ben being one of the returning guys in the defensive backfield for you. You had 3 guys starting their first game this last week, and Cheatham and Jordan and Butler on defense. But, week in and week out in that secondary, as just a true sophomore, Ben DeLuca's done a nice job. 17 tackles 2 weeks ago against Marshall, 10 more this week against Western Kentucky. Yeah, being really productive for us. And then probably, big play in the game in the second half. They caught the seam route on us, and he just ripped the ball away from the tight end. He's kind of an instinctive guy like that. Like seeing him made that play on the corner route down there in the end zone. But he's playing at a high level for us. He really prepares himself well for the game, and he's kind of been a mainstay back there for us, for the last year and a half, 2 years. So he's going to have to continue on that track, being productive from not only in the run game, but especially this week. UAB does a nice job with their quarterback. He's a really good runner. He's rushed for as many touchdowns as he's thrown. Very productive guy for him. And Ben, our 2 safeties are going to have to really play a nice game this week. Talked about it last week when he was here, but kind of like a football junkie at Ben DeLuca. But one of those guys, quiet-mannered, but on the field, a different guy. Yeah, no question. He's as good a student athlete as you want on your team. I mean, he does everything right. Very humble guy, but when he takes the field now, it's on. He's ready to play and plays at a high level.
Now, was he do a pretty good job back there leading those guys? Because I know with having other guys in there at the cornerback positions, it looked like there was a lot of talking back there. For the most part, was the coverage pretty secure?
Yeah, no question. He does a really good job of communicating with the corners. He and Robert actually played together in high school, so it's kind of a natural connection for those two. They live together. He does a great job communicating on the back end and getting us into the right stuff. And I thought for the most part we did that. We didn't bust many coverages. We had one or two busts in there. Our issues were really we just got beat. Like Robert got beat on the double move. The throwback. We got beat on that one on the long pass, and then we had a couple others in there where we got beat on the wheel route down in the end zone. 85 caught it on us. AJ just kind of let it get away from him. Wasn't sure who was going to take it, and he really had it, and he just didn't make the play in the end.
Well, it seemed you mentioned a couple of those plays, and it seemed like they had dialed up a lot of trick plays, kind of smoke and mirrors, a lot of things that probably as a coach you would probably do the same thing if you knew there were going to be some secondary problems with backups out there. Maybe take advantage of that by running some things that they might normally see.
Yeah, no question. They traded some tight ends, motions, shift, things like that. I thought Quentin Baker played extremely well for him. Number 3, their running back, as a guy we had recruited out of high school. Thought he was a really good play. He did a nice job. But, I thought they dialed up some good stuff just to make sure that we were on point. And in some situations, we had some guys there. We got beat. Like Quentin was there on the post route. He just let him break his cushion, and then he got behind him. So just little things that, over time, Quentin just joined our program in July, late July. So, he continues to get better, but his role's been forced to really elevate because of some injuries back there.
It's also, too, we talk about it a lot. Year 5, you have these new guys coming in. And even though it's that next man up mentality when someone does go down, we had so many guys out this week. When you haven't had a lot of reps, it's still the fact that it's a very young team going up against a team that, they know how to win.
Yeah, no question. We knew it was tough. It was going to be a tough chore on the road, and then you throw in, 7 or 8 starters out. It kind of magnified itself. Like you say, you're on the road, you're playing against a really good football team. They've been recruiting at a high level for the last couple of years with those wins. And then you take the quarterback. He's just so experienced, and that was that was the battle for us. I thought we held our own up front defensively. They didn't run the ball. They had 3 yards per rush, I think, against us, but they just had too much through the air.
I noticed because of the younger players in there and the backups, but also on the offensive side, linemen rotating more, some more guys getting some reps in there. Is that something this point in the season you want to see? Okay, let's get some guys out there and see what they can do, battle for some jobs, maybe push some guys?
Well, we were forced a little bit with Chris Brown being out. We were kind of on a 6-man rotation. We're trying to play Jalen Fisher a little bit more because he's playing at a high level. He went down to FIU and played extremely well. He went in the Western Kentucky game and played well. So, we need to up his reps, and then we were trying to slide Drake over at some guard with Chris Brown being out. And that kind of Chris Brown's kind of that swing guy for us, plays tackle and guard, and we just didn't have him. He played a little bit in the game, but we couldn't play him extended because he just an ankle injury. Then not having Warpay on the outside, that forced us into some things out there as well. But I think just the biggest thing, the reason we played more guys was because we didn't have Chris, on a full-time basis. So, and we want to get Jalen in the game, and he's playing well, so we've got to continue that trend.
Now, with some of the guys that did have to play, like the Robert Cheatham, Sean Bernard, guys like that, did they show you enough, even those limited reps, that, hey, we need to get them more time?
Yeah, I think Robert did. I think Robert, he's going to have to, continue. He's a really fast guy, and he needs to keep playing for us, and he'll have to keep playing for us. Hopefully we get, Quay Gibbs and Cuff back this week. We'll see. Gibbs went in for a series in the game, but still just too tender. He's got a big toe injury, and he's got turf toe, and it sounds like a little thing, but it's a debilitating injury. You can't do anything without your big toe and your thumb. So those big toe injuries they sound really small, but it's a huge thing, especially anything you do. You're pushing off with your feet, and you're changing directions at DB. So he's got to continue. Hopefully he'll be full speed by this weekend.
We saw also Cameron Duncan for the first time true freshman running back, I know a player you like a lot. I think has a very bright future. Late in the second half to back up Aaron McAllister, you ran Duncan out there. What was your impression from this Saturday?
I really like him. He had a good week of practice last week. We didn't play him in the first half because we didn't play many plays. I think we only had 25 plays, 26 or 20 something like that at the half. So we hadn't played a bunch. They took the ball off the toss. So we didn't have a ton of plays. And then Aaron got dinged up in there a little bit with his ankle, and so we went ahead and made the decision. But we had made that decision before the game. Like he was our backup running back, and he's got a lot of ability, and I'm really looking forward to seeing him play. It'll be interesting to see where Benny is in the concussion protocol, if we can get him back. He's progressing, and he's without symptoms now, and so hopefully we'll have him back. Just feel really good where we are right now at running back, especially if Benny's back the way Aaron's playing. And then you have a young guy in Cam Duncan, has the ability to go in there and play. I was really pleased with him and his attitude and his effort and all those things. I think he's going to be a good player around here.
Well, speaking of running back, Aaron McAllister, he is our guest here today for Gold Mine Live. He's been standing by very patiently, so we're going to take a timeout now, come back and talk to AMAC as we go on with Gold Mine Live this week. Week 8 of Niner football here in 2017, back on the Charlotte IMG Sports Network.
Okay, it's time to belly up to the bar because it's the last call to save big on 2017 Ford F-Series. Cash in on the truck that hauls the most and has more efficiency at the pump with an EcoBoost engine and a high-strength military-grade aluminum alloy body. Time to get in on America's best-selling trucks 40 years running. Because you snooze, you lose, pal.
Now get $10,800 in total savings on a 2017 F-150, only at your Carolina Ford dealer.
Sophie, his 13th birthday. Gift, we've got you. Guitar, coming tomorrow. Road game today, surprise party tomorrow. Change of plans. Game tomorrow.
No, birthday tomorrow.
Guitar, reroute.
Birthdays are on birthdays.
Party, relocate. UPS My Choice makes rerouting packages easy. How we're helping companies solve for the needs of customers like Sophie.
The Student Athlete of the Week, sponsored by Ortho Carolina, the official team physician of your Charlotte 49ers. This week's Ortho Carolina Student Athlete of the Week is Zavante Wilson. Wilson is a senior men's soccer player from right here in Charlotte, North Carolina. Wilson has started in every game he's played in this season for the 49ers and has tallied 20 career points. Last season, he was named to the NSCAA Scholar All-South Region second team for his performance both on the field and in the classroom, and helped the men's soccer team capture the CUSA regular season title. He is a double major in business and Japanese and hopes to work in international business once he graduates. Zavante Wilson, the Ortho Carolina Student Athlete of the Week. This has been the Ortho Carolina Student Athlete of the Week, brought to you by Ortho Carolina, the official team physician of your Charlotte 49ers.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Gold Mine Live as we get ready for Week 8, the homecoming game this week coming up on Saturday against UAB. And joining us now is Niners running back Aaron McAllister, redshirt freshman from Live Oak, Florida. And had him on the pregame show a couple of weeks ago. We talked about Live Oak just outside of Jacksonville. And growing up, I asked him if he was a Jaguars fan or maybe one of the college teams down there. You said you love Tom Brady. That's why I knew I liked you.
Oh,
Patriots.
Boy.
How you doing?
Right. I'm doing great. Just feeling it from Saturday.
You're sore, aren't you? A little sore?
I'm real sore. I'm very sore. Yes, sir.
You're sore because you ran for 157 yards. You had that one that went for 89. What was that like?
I mean, it was great.
Could you feel the end zone? I mean,
oh yeah,
there's a long way to go.
No, I wasn't trying to get caught from behind. No.
Hey,
so
you did a good job increasing it. I mean, you were not getting caught. You were making the distance even more.
Sir, that's right. I wasn't getting caught, man. That's one thing I wasn't going to do. So just had to run for my life. I guess I can say that.
Tell us about getting your first start back there. What that was like the week leading up to it. You knew Benny may not play, and it might be your turn to be the starting running back. What was that whole week of preparation like for you?
It was great. I mean, not having Benny back there, it was like very uncomfortable because he wasn't there to practice. So I know the load was going to be on my back. So, I mean, I just had to stay keyed in, stay focused, and just get the job done.
There's a competition you both want to play, but it's a friendly competition. You both pull for each other. You're very close.
Yes, it is. I mean, every week, I mean, we're always going back and forth, just texting each other and just talking about, you know, what are we going to do this week and what things we're going to do, how we're going to, you know, finally get in the end zone and score touchdowns and what yardage goals that we're trying to reach. And we just have that good connection, and that's what we do every week, and we try to fulfill those goals.
Yeah, and I think that's the beginning of taking this team to the next level, is the fact that there's competition at that running back position. All the positions need to get to that point where there's quality guys that are back up that are pushing for those times. Like Coach just mentioned, Jalen Allen's been playing pretty well, so he's got him in the mix with the O-line. For you two guys, you know, I would expect to see a boost in both your performances because it's friendly.
That's right.
But, man, you guys want those touches in the games, am I right?
That's right. We do. We both want it, and we both stay hungry. And I mean, the thing is, we're very close friends, and just to have that bond and connection, and we're both chasing the same goals, which makes everything better in the running back position.
Do you feel like you're both similar style runners, or maybe some differences in terms of, you know, you being able to maybe just run somebody over like Khalif did last year? We've seen Benny kind of sneak by some guys that way too.
I believe we're similar, but I'm just a little tad bit faster than Benny.
That's right.
Well, you think just a little bit faster?
Yeah, I'm a tad bit faster than him.
It looked like it in the game with that long 89-yarder. That was an amazing run. But I can imagine you've got to be pretty sore and beat up because, you know, you redshirted last year. Then this year you've backed up Benny LeMay up to this point. Then suddenly you're the guy, and you get all those carries, the long 89-yarder. It had to be probably the most sore you've been in a couple years.
Yes, it has been. I mean, I'm feeling it everywhere, my traps and everything. It's my calf muscles, and I mean, I knew it was going to come to this point to where, you know, I mean, anything could happen. Just have to be patient and wait on my opportunity. But my number was called, so I had to do what I had to do.
Tell us about the transition. You were playing some defense. I know you played running back. You played offense in high school, and you're now back on the offensive side. And you would tell me that you like being on the offensive side of the football. But what was that transition like? At the college level, the game was so much faster.
The transition was, I mean, it was very solid. Just a matter of me learning the offense and learning the plays. And once I was able to do those things, just me being focused and just executing those plays. And I mean, I felt very good just, you know, being able to play and being able to start and just do what I can do.
Well, I know you know, the loss was tough, but for you, personal milestone getting that touchdown, that first one, right?
Yeah.
I mean, how did that feel? I've never scored a touchdown in my entire life. I played 25 years of football, man. I'm still searching for that high. You know, I'm sure you had to have been, it felt amazing.
Yeah, I felt really good. I mean, I couldn't believe it, but I mean, it was actually my outside zone play, and it wasn't nothing to the right side, so I cut it back to the left, and the quarterback, Brooks, was able to get the block on the safety, so I was able to cut it in and get in the end zone. And, I mean, it felt good just being the first back to actually score a rushing touchdown this year. So it's just great. I mean, it feels amazing.
We talked about that play, too. Like, you went to the right. There really wasn't anything there, so you cut it back real quick to the left, and you got the good block by Brooks. But you still had to get to the outside and run to that corner, so you showed the speed there as well.
Yes, sir. That's right. I mean, just everything just opening up. Receivers did a great job blocking on the edge, like Brooks did. You know, he made a great block and just used my speed to get in the end zone, and just finally made it happen. And
well, and I'm sure you had to give, you know, thank your boy T.L. Ford for that long 89-yard run, because I tell Matt on the radio, you know, the guys up front can get you to that next level. But those receivers got to be the ones that can break the big ones. And a nice block and no holding, nothing like that, just a clean block, and you just blew right by the guy.
Yes. After I scored, I went up to TL and I told him thank you. Because they started with the O-line. I told the O-line thank you. Then I went to the receivers and I told them thank you, because without them, that wasn't possible. So I made sure I gave those guys credit for that.
We're going to talk to your running backs coach, Keith Henry, coming up. Tell us about playing for Coach Henry and you know, what the season's been like. You changed positions, but you got this new running back coach as well.
It's been challenging, because I mean, Coach Henry, he's always on us. You know, I run off the field, and you know, we watching film, and he's telling us what we're doing wrong and making sure we're correcting in practice. I I mean, just going from Coach Adams, been at the DB position coach, to Coach Henry, it's two different coaching styles. But I mean, they both was on me, red shirt, no red shirt. I mean, you get the same coaching, and I mean, I really like his mentality. He's going to get on you when you're wrong, and he's not going to praise you too much when you're right, but he's still going to get on you. So I know that I still need to fix something, even though I'm doing something right. But it's been good so far, and I'm loving it. I'm really enjoying myself.
As you guys got together this morning, you had your meetings on Monday morning. You worked out, but this big week coming up with UAB, it's homecoming. What are some of the things you guys are talking about going into this week?
Some things, I mean, just staying focused. I mean, even though we're going through a little adversity right now, just staying together, and it's a brotherhood. You're going to go through a lot of things in life, but just have to cross that bridge and keep working, keep pressing forward. But we're looking to get our first W this weekend, and I'm excited to play.
Aaron, thanks so much. Really appreciate the time today, and congratulations. Great game on Saturday for you, 157 yards. That's the third most by a Niner this season. And
yes,
good luck this week against UAB.
I appreciate it.
That's Aaron McAllister, Niner freshman running back, redshirt freshman from Live Oak, Florida. We'll come back and talk to running backs coach Keith Henry coming up next as we continue with Goldmine Live on the Charlotte IMG Sports Network.
Okay, it's time to belly up to the bar because it's the last call to save big on 2017 Ford F-Series. Cash in on the truck that hauls the most and has more efficiency at the pump with an EcoBoost engine and a high-strength military-grade aluminum alloy body. Time to get in on America's best-selling trucks 40 years running. Because you snooze, you lose, pal.
Now get $10,800 in total savings on a 2017 F-150, only at your Carolina Ford dealer.
Sophie, his 13th birthday. Gift, we've got you. Guitar, coming tomorrow. Road game today, surprise party tomorrow. Change of plans. Game tomorrow.
No, birthday tomorrow.
Hotel. Guitar, reroute.
Birthdays are on birthdays.
Party, relocate. UPS My Choice makes rerouting packages easy. How we're helping companies solve for the needs of customers like Sophie.
Welcome back to Goldmine Live as we continue on, getting ready for Week 8. The Niners taking on UAB this coming Saturday. Kickoff is at 6:30, by the way. And a special guest joining us right now, running backs coach Keith Henry. First season now with the Niners. And Coach Henry, thanks for joining us. Hope you're doing well.
Thanks, Matt.
You got a talented group of running backs right now. And we just talked to Aaron McAllister a moment ago. Of course, what Ben LeMay has done this season. We saw Cameron Duncan for the first time on Saturday. You got to like the group you're working with.
Matt, I do. I mean, it's a great group of young men. Ben LeMay is a great bag. Aaron McAllister and Cameron Duncan. I mean, I enjoy coming to work with those gentlemen. Just a great group of guys. I mean, they're a hard worker. They don't care who gets the glory, and all they want to do is get in there and help the team.
Tell us a little bit about you. In the last couple of years at Catawba, just up the road in Salisbury. Before that, he went 11 years at Wake Forest. He spent some time with Coach Lambert over there at Wake. So what kind of led you here to the 49ers?
Well, Matt, Coach Lambert and I worked together at Wake for a number of years. And after my run at Wake, I ended up going back to my alma mater to be the defensive coordinator and assistant head coach there. And Coach Lambert and I, we stayed in touch, and just like all ball coaches do. But he had a position to come up on his staff, and called me about it, and things ended up working out. Landed me here at UNCC Charlotte.
You were part of that staff at Wake where you really got it all together, made that run for the Orange Bowl, and how special that was. And so when you got the call from Coach Lambert to come here and see what he's trying to do and start this program and get it going towards that direction, that had to have been kind of something you're excited about joining.
Oh yes, and just being with working with a great guy. Lambert is a loyal guy, great guy. I'll do anything for the guy, but and he knows what it takes to build a program and just get the right pieces in order and move forward.
Well, you joined the staff as a running backs coach, but most of your background has been in the defensive side of it. Do you feel like that gives you a little bit of an edge when you're coaching those guys at where those defensive players are going to be and what their responsibilities are and what they should look for as they're running the ball?
It does because just in staff meetings with the players, just in position meetings with the players, there are different things I can tell them just being on the defensive side of the ball. Who's going to be in this gap, who's going to squeeze and scrape, what to look for, who's coming down, going to be run support. So it's an advantage that can help us as a position group.
Now, did you feel good about making that transition? Because it's hard to coach another position, and suddenly, you said you'd do anything for Coach Lambert, so he said, we got this job, but you're going to be the running backs coach. How's that gone so far?
It's gone well. Coaching is coaching. I really believe coaching is coaching. Just put the guys in the best situation to be successful. And either side of the ball, it really doesn't matter to me. It doesn't matter to me. Just I'm on the offense side of the ball. Just trying to block those moving parts. But I enjoy it.
And you've done a good job because, a lot of positions when there's a starter that has to be out, there's a little bit of a drop off. But you've really coached up Aaron McAllister in transitioning from defense to offense. Coached him well that he's out there, and it was very highly productive this last game.
Yes. And one thing I could say about that group is they are self-starters. They're guys that's going to come in and they like to scribe. They're going to scribe and write down, take good notes, and ask questions, which is really great. And then if there's any issues, that we'll solve those problems and move forward. But it's a great group of guys. I enjoy working with those guys, and hopefully we can continue to be successful.
Where do you want to see this group still have that next step of improvement?
Well, I would think the next step for improvement for this group is I think blocking. We got to do a better blocking our opponents. That's one of the things I've stressed to them this morning in the meetings. We got to do a better job. But as far as making the right reads on some gap down plays, I just think our eyes are not in the right place on gap down plays. But those things, I think we can improve on those, and we continue to improve on those. We'll be better as an offensive unit. I really believe that.
We've seen, of course, Benny LeMay have big games, and now Aaron McAllister, a couple of them. We just saw our first look at this young man, Cameron Duncan. Tell us about him a little bit.
Cam he's a unique guy. He's going to be a good player for us, but he's still wet. He's got a lot to learn yet. But I think it was great. We had a chance to throw him to the fire a little bit, but he ended up grading out well for the 16 plays that he played in. But once he grows and starts to feel comfortable and with the offense and start to see things, as we call the plays, he's going to be better. I know you said this morning, the staff meeting, he said those guys were hitting him so hard, I feel like bees coming after him.
Well, did he show you enough that possibly he gets more reps now as the season goes on, or if you're at full strength with Aaron and Benny, you're going to stick with those as the 1-2 combo?
Well, yeah, it just depends. I would like to get him more reps, but it all depends on how Benny and Aaron's doing. It's just one of those things that whoever's got the mojo, that's the guy I'm going to go with, or we're going to go with as a team. But you got to give those guys a blow too here and there.
Well, it's really I think it's a great problem to have for you. It's not even a problem really. Is that for the first time really in this young program's history, you got a group of running backs that, well, they're all coming back. I mean, you got a group that you can coach for a couple of years now, and they're all talented. It's a position that looks really good going forward.
Yes, correct.
Well, I got something for you now. On a personal note, while you're coaching and pouring your heart and soul into this program, your son is a senior at West Forsyth High School up in Winston-Salem.
Yes.
KJ, he's being very highly recruited, and I'm sure he's just getting inundated. And since he's going to school up there, you're down here coaching. Do you get to talk to him on a daily basis and talk about some of these things, or do you have weekly phone calls, or how do you work that out? Because I know you're missing him a lot, but you're very proud of what he's accomplishing this year.
Yes. Good thing with Coach Lambert, I have a chance to, when we're here at home, have a chance to go watch him play on Friday nights, and I'm really fortunate that Coach Lambert has really given me the opportunity to do that. He and we talk probably twice a week just to see how practice going, and who their upcoming opponents. But I do watch his game film. I watch it and look at it and try to critique him a little bit just to help him some things that he shouldn't be doing. But I don't try to.
You're always a coach.
I don't try to coach him though, because I'm not the one in the locker room, in the classroom. So I don't try to coach him, but I do watch his film and evaluate him. Yes.
That sounds really interesting, and I hope he has a great rest of his senior season. And Coach, thanks so much for joining us this week, and really happy to have you as a 49er.
Thank you, and I appreciate it. Thank you all.
Good luck this week against UAB.
Okay.
That's running backs coach Keith Henry joining us. Back with Coach Lambert as we continue with Gold Mine Live here at the Student Union this week on the Charlotte IMG Sports Network.
Okay, it's time to belly up to the bar, because it's the last call to save big on 2017 Ford F-Series. Cash in on the truck that hauls the most and has more efficiency at the pump with an EcoBoost engine and a high-strength military-grade aluminum alloy body. Time to get in on America's best-selling trucks 40 years running, because you snooze, you lose, pal.
Now get $10,800 in total savings on a 2017 F-150, only at your Carolina Ford dealer.
Sophie, his 13th birthday. Gift, we've got you. Guitar, coming tomorrow. Road game today, surprise party tomorrow. Change of plans. Game tomorrow.
No, birthday tomorrow.
Hotel. Guitar, reroute.
Birthdays are on birthdays.
Party, relocate. UPS My Choice makes rerouting packages easy. How we're helping companies solve for the needs of customers like Sophie.
Welcome back to Gold Mine Live, and back with us is head coach Brad Lambert. I want to thank Aaron McAllister and assistant coach Keith Henry for joining us this week on the show. And Coach, you and Coach Henry go back a long time with your time at Wake Forest, and when you had a chance to bring him here to Charlotte, you jumped at it, and he's done a nice job with your running backs.
Yeah, he's a heck of a football coach. We sat in the same room for 10 years together, and actually there was a year or two in there where we both coached the secondary together. He's a heck of a football coach, and he's got a lot of respect for him. And he was at Catawba for a couple years, and he's done a good job. He's worked for Coach Grove for a long time. Coach Wideouts at Ohio when he was there. So kind of been on both sides of the ball and brings an interesting perspective. But he's done a good job with our running backs so far.
Well, as we head into week 8, I know you always get focused in on what your team is doing and your next opponent. But when you look at the league as a whole, as we're past the halfway part now by a couple of weeks, some teams standing out. We haven't seen North Texas yet. We have not played them or UTEP, and until this year hadn't played Western Kentucky. Haven't played La Tech yet, but this year looks like North Texas has it going in the right direction. And of course, after this last week, what we saw from Mike White, the quarterback, I think Western's going to play a factor in the division before the year's over in Conference USA.
Yeah, no question. They're going to be there at the end. Them, Marshall, FAU's playing extremely well right now. Even FIU, won again, beat Tulane last week. So pretty good balance. I think the other side of the league now, you're watching UAB's video. Pretty good teams over there as well. Southern Miss is on a roll. They've traditionally done a nice job on that side. North Texas is playing extremely well. They played really well against UAB on video. Moved the ball really nice. Louisiana Tech has been in that championship game how many times? So a lot of balance in our league, looks like, at the top end of it. It's going to be an interesting race, and hopefully we can be a factor in that race. UAB's sitting here in a pretty good spot at 4-2. Hopefully we can be a factor in knocking some people out of this thing and putting a little curveball on them.
Well, speaking of UAB, for folks that maybe just are joining us with the show, we touched on UAB, our opponent this coming Saturday at the top of the broadcast. But you look at them right now, they're 2-1 in Conference USA. Their one loss was a 3-point loss at North Texas. Just mentioned how good North Texas is playing. And then to beat La Tech and then Middle Tennessee. Here's a team Coach Clark has, you mentioned the JUCO guys he's brought back to kind of get this program kick-started again. They're playing well. They
really are. They're really fundamentally sound. It all starts with their quarterback. I'm sure he played at a high level last week just because he started his career at Middle Tennessee. He started there, then went to junior college, transferred in, they signed him. He's playing really well. He's a really good runner of the ball. He's a good thrower as well. So they've got good balance with him. They got a freshman running back that's playing really with big backs, playing really well for them. I like their offensive line. The one thing that we're going to have to really be on point. This is a big physical offensive line. They're going to come off the ball and establish the line of scrimmage. They got 300-pounders across the board with some age. So we're going to have to play extremely well up front defensively to keep the run game under control. And he's a big piece of that. He's had some long runs. Every time you turn the film on, he's running the ball, off the zone read stuff, kind of like Hassan's done for us. And they really have done a nice job.
Well, go ahead.
No, he's run for one that was 59 yards, you mentioned, and also Spencer Brown, the running back you're talking about, he's averaging 5.5 yards per run, over 100 yards a game, so he's had a really good season.
He really has. And then you throw in Andre Wilson, the wide receiver. I think he's going to be one of the better ones. We've seen some good wideouts this year. He's going to be right there with them. Very, very hard to cover, runs really good routes, got good speed. So they have a good, kind of 1-2 punch there with their running backs, a big physical back, and then this wide out. And I think, like I said, I think AJ's playing extremely well. Their quarterback, he's really got a good handle on what they're trying to do. And then you throw in a big offensive line. Their defensive line's got some big guys. There's 2 or 3 guys on their defensive front that we actually recruited. We tried to get him to come to Charlotte, the big nose guard who's from Raleigh. His name's slipping me here, but Anthony Rush. He's a guy that, we recruited him. He's from Raleigh, went to one of the Mississippi junior colleges. We tried to get him to come in here. He went to UAB. They had a huge advantage on us because those kids went there because they knew they were going to have an opportunity to play right away. So Stacy Keeley's playing well for him. I actually went out and looked at him out at Iowa Western. He's a big, long, rangy guy, can really rush the passer. So he's playing well for him. So up front defensively. Then you throw in Shaq Jones. Shaq Jones has kind of got the whole package. He's on the All-State Good Works team. I mean, he's just sounds like a really, really good person and is playing at a high level for them. And I think he was a guy that went to UAB, and I don't think he left. I think he stayed there through the whole thing and just never left, didn't want to leave UAB. I think that's his story, and he just wanted to stay there and bring it back. Hopefully it would come back, and he kind of rolled the dice, and they did bring it back because they had a lot of guys leave that year that, the running back that went to Indiana, I think his last name's Howard, he's in the NFL now. I mean, they had some good players there when they decided to drop football, that guys that left and played at other places that played well. So, they've done a good job. And like I said, they got age just by way of, and they got an exception within the rule. The NCAA let them, freeze those guys' clock the year they didn't play. So that was a huge advantage for them to bring guys in, and all of a sudden they didn't lose a year eligibility. That was a huge advantage for them. So they took advantage of the rule, and kudos to them. But that's why they're a little bit older.
Yeah, no doubt with that, because I see how these guys are when they get into college and what they look like when they leave 5 years later, and to have even an additional year on there is a big advantage. But with the matchup this week, what I think is interesting is this, to me, is the first team that seems to be a run-first team and is really just wanting to dominate the line of scrimmage and try and establish that run, use the pass some off of that. But certainly everyone we've played so far, it's been a pass-happy offense with a lot of throws. This one's a little bit different challenge.
Yeah, it is. This one has a lot more balance to it. UAB wants to establish the run. You're exactly right, kind of like we do. We want to be able to run the ball, and they want to do the same. And then, because like I said, AJ's got, I think he's got 7 rushing touchdowns and 7 passing touchdowns, something right. It's pretty balanced right there when you look at it. So he has the ability to run all the quarterback run plays and throw the ball. So you're exactly right, Kevin. They want to establish the run game, big physical offensive line. So this will be a huge challenge for us up front defensively. And, I've been really proud of the guys up front. They've answered every challenge we put in front of them. I thought last week's, offensive line was extremely big, and I thought they held their own in there against those guys.
One more break again, and we'll take it right now. Come back with some final thoughts for Week 8. Niners taking on UAB. Again, game time on Saturday is 6:30. We're back with more Gold Mine Live on the Charlotte IMG Sports Network.
Okay, it's time to belly up to the bar because it's the last call to save big on 2017 Ford F-Series. Cash in on the truck that hauls the most and has more efficiency at the pump with an EcoBoost engine and a high-strength military-grade aluminum alloy body. Time to get in on America's best-selling trucks 40 years running. Because you snooze, you lose, pal.
Now get $10,800 in total savings on a 2017 F-150 only at your Carolina Ford dealer.
Sophie, his 13th birthday. Gift? We've got you. Guitar? Coming tomorrow. Road game today, surprise party tomorrow. Change of plans. Game tomorrow.
No, birthday tomorrow.
Guitar? Reroute.
Birthdays are on birthdays.
Party? Relocate. UPS My Choice makes rerouting packages easy. How we're helping companies solve for the needs of customers like Sophie.
Welcome back. Final segment here, Gold Mine Live. A couple of minutes left of the show, and as we get ready for UAB, Coach, one of the things that you've been talking about is extending drives and doing a little better job to pick up some first downs and do a better job on third down. This is a big week to try and keep that offense off the field and extend some drives and try to get in the end zone.
Yeah, no question. That's something we've got to get better at. Third down on both sides of the ball. We got to continue to up that percentage on both sides of the ball and win those third down situations. And really fourth down as well. So many people now are going on fourth down a little bit more, and so we got to continue that trend. We got off twice last week on fourth down, I think it was. And then I think another big key in the game is going to be special teams. Our guys have done a nice job special teams wise. I didn't like our KOR, our kickoff return. We end up making some yards. We had the one block in the back, but we got to get better at maintaining some of those blocks up front. But Arthur continues on. We've got to continue to work with our kickers. We got to find our kicker. Nigel just couldn't go last week with his left ankle, his plant foot ankle. He just was too sore, so we couldn't. And I thought our field goal attempt that got blocked was just too low. I didn't think it was a protection issue after I watched it. It was just was a low kick, and we've got to kick the ball better. But I've had to move my yard line up, where we kick from. So, and we just got to continue on that trend and play well in the special teams and try to get a big play.
Well, probably the biggest guy this week for you is going to be AJ in the training room, getting some guys healthy, and hopefully a bunch of those guys that missed Saturday can get back on the field this week. Yeah,
hopefully we'll get Benny back, Hassan, Warpay, Chris Brown I think will be back. So you'll start getting some of those guys back. We get Covington back, Ed Roll back, get Quay Gibbs, keep bringing him along. So we can get some guys back. The guy we're going to really miss is Carrington. Your heart bleeds for guys. When they have a bad injury like that, it's hard to been through that a couple of times when you're on the field and you got to look a kid in the eye and it's a bad injury, and you don't want that for any player. I don't care what team they're on. It's just those are just not fun to be around, and your heart bleeds for them because they put so much work in and so much effort. It doesn't matter. That guy loves to play, and all of a sudden to be laying there on the field and feel like it's over for you. That's a tough thing for a guy to go through. All-time leading tackler for Niner football, Carrington King. Wish him nothing but the best going forward. He'll be around, but unfortunately won't be able to play for us. That's right. Well, Coach, it's going to wrap it up for us this week. Thanks so much for the time here on this Monday. We will look forward to the homecoming game coming up on Saturday, and have a great week. Okay, man. Thanks, Matt. Appreciate it. Hey, Coach Brad Lambert. For Kevin Donnelly, I'm Matt Swear. I want to thank our two special guests, running backs coach Keith Henry and Aaron McAllister. We'll see you Saturday for the homecoming game. Game time is 6:30. Our pregame starts at 4:30. So long, everybody.